Welcome back, and let's look at sets now. The previous lesson we covered tuples, and so now we're going to get into sets. So let's say we create our own set, my set, and then we're going to put items in it. So now notice the syntax for a set. Curly brace. Okay, so unlike tuples where we had parentheses, now we had curly braces. Now, how about the data items within a set? Let's put a string here. Let's put an orange. And let's put a comma here, put another one, and put apple. Now, do they have to be the same data type? Let's put the number 7, right? So as a number, as an integer, okay? All right, so let's stop there and investigate what we can do with this. 1, the set, as a rule, is an unordered set of items. So that means no matter what, there is no specific order in which these items are stored in memory or specifically as we see it. So it's not necessarily orange, apple, and 7 in that order. Can we prove that? Well, first, can we prove that we can access a particular location using an index? We're going to see that we're going to get an error if we try to do that. So if you try to do, for example, print my set, and if you try to access the first data member as if it's a list or if it's a tuple, let's see what happens when you do that. Okay, so it is not subscriptable, which means you cannot have a subscript or an index for a set. Had this been, let's say, let's replace this and make it a tuple, then this wouldn't be a problem at all. As you can see, we can access the orange. So that's very important to understand, that you cannot access individual member in this manner. I will show you how to find an individual member if it exists within a set. So let's go ahead and put the set notation here. So we know this is an invalid syntax if it's a set. Can I, however, step through the set using a for loop? Absolutely. So for item, so that will be the item I'm going to use to go through the elements in here. In my set, we're going to print the item. And I'm going to try to print it several times to see if indeed I get the same order every time I run it. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it, and notice I get apple, orange, and 7. So it's not even in the same order. Let's run it again, and let's run it again, and let's run it again. Okay, so I didn't necessarily get the same order that's in here. Okay, so, and that's again explaining that it is an unordered set of items or data items within the set. Now, can we find a specific item, like an orange, for example? Let's do it in a print statement first, and then we'll do it in an if statement. So let's go ahead and print something like this. Orange, spell it the same way, in my set. Now, this will yield either true or false. So let's see what comes out. And notice we get a true. That means indeed we have that. Now, let's say we say oranges, and you could see that we get a false. Knowing that, we could use this as part of an if statement. So instead of printing, we could put it, we can make this a conditional statement. If orange in set then you could say something like this: print there exists an orange in this set. Let's run it. And you can see this is true. Now, if you do oranges, then you get an error. Now, let's make it a little more interesting. And let's have the user enter an item, and then we're going to find out if it exists in the set or not. So item equals input, enter an item to find in our set, and instead of oranges we're going to put item here, and instead of this we're going to say we're going to do this: item, comma, right? So we're crafting the output statement here so we can actually have this embedded as part of this string here. So if the item exists, and else print item is not present in this set. Okay, well, let's try it. So it's asking me to enter something, orange. So I'm going to type it in the same way. And there exists an orange in this set. Let's run it again. And let's put berries. Berries is not present in this set. Okay, so for the next lesson, we're going to delve more into sets and methods associated with sets so we can actually add more items, remove items. So there's a lot more to sets than we had with tuples. So I will see you then.